My name is Selah Martha. I'm a therapist and a Kundalini yoga teacher. And I heard about the Annapurna for many years living here in Port Townsend. And it took me a few years to actually come here and do the liver and gallbladder flush. I was experiencing fibromyalgia for probably a good 10 years. And I was approaching it through natural health means. And so I had been making steady progress, but I wasn't satisfied with how I was feeling. And so I decided I was brave enough to go through the regimen. And I also knew that I needed help. I wasn't going to follow any of the books. I wasn't going to do this by myself. I needed someone to really coach me through, give me a protocol, walk me through the whole deal. And so I knew that Robin could do that, and that was her commitment and her practice, and she did it. Mostly I was afraid that I would have to give up all my favorite foods. And that was a huge hurdle for me. I have my habits. I'm a very habit-oriented person. I like my comforts. So that was my main fear. But I was so ready for change that I was willing. And she provides such beautiful food. The food is exquisite. So that was so pleasurable and interesting that I didn't feel any big lack of my foods. I mean, of course I knew I could go back to them. I wasn't afraid of the process of colonics, having done them many times before. I was afraid of this idea of a huge flushing of the liver and the gallbladder. I just didn't know what that meant. And I had heard rumors about some of the things that you ingest to achieve this. So I was a little anxious about that, but when the time came, it wasn't difficult at all. Again, Robin was with us every step of the way. I call her the shamanic cheerleader. She's completely devoted. She knows how good a person can feel, and she's fearless about getting you there. I've done one liver gallbladder flush here at the center, and I've done one on my own with support from Robin at home. I would recommend doing the flush here with Robin. I definitely got better results. It was a more total immersion, and I have recommended other people. I've also seen any number of my clients, either my yoga students or my therapy clients, go through the flush, and that is really obvious, the benefit to them. Psychological, physical, mental well-being. I've been privileged to watch the results literally come through my door. This process supports change on every level of being. So for myself, going through the process, there were layers that were liberated. I could feel them move out even during the colonics. Connections to the past that I had held on to in a rigid way, some spiritual questions that moved through as to my own value, and certainly mental configurations of what I think reality actually is, these sort of hardened little negative spaces that we can get into. And when I observe others go through it, same thing happens. They come out lighter and freer. After the flush, people kept saying to me, "You look 10 years younger. What are you doing?" And I felt that too. My skin felt very different. I would say, though, that the primary experience was that I could feel my core body. I could feel the process of my relationship with food and what happened to it when it went into my body. And so I naturally wanted to eat cleaner, better foods. Probably now I'm at about 20% raw foods without trying very hard. I'm not much of a food preparer, but I eat a lot more fresh foods and naturally shy away from the fats and the stimulants and the high sugar foods because they simply don't feel good anymore. And I can feel what they do to my entire system. I will say that my fibromyalgia symptoms were greatly reduced, hugely reduced, especially immediately after the flush. All my pain was gone. And now I can feel that it's really my choice. If I abide by certain food conditions and self-care conditions, then I can be pain-free. And when I fall into certain habits, then I re-experience my symptoms, though never again at the level that I did before the flesh.
There's a fibromyalgia association, and they say there's no cure for fibromyalgia. And I say any autoimmune condition has a way to be healed if you want. Only if you choose. It's all about your choice.